Here we are, guys, in part 7 of this story. In the land of waves, our favorite blonde encounters the Kyuubi. Watch the subsequent events unfold as Naruto uses the power that was sealed inside of him on the day of his birth. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Why did we come to this place? Naruto said. Are we going to take a bath before we start training? No, we are here to train, said Ebisu. In fact, you see that water over there? This is called the water walking exercise. We are going to use that to work on your basic chakra control. Ebisu demonstrated by gathering some chakra into his feet and took a few steps onto the water. You have got to be kidding me. I already did that damn chakra control exercise, Naruto thought to himself. Like I said, I have a bad feeling that this guy is going to be completely useless, Kurama joked. Meh, let's see what he says when I get it first go, replied Naruto. Naruto quickly gathered chakra in his feet and then proceeded to take a few steps out, balancing himself perfectly. You see, now that wasn't so bad. I must have finally gotten through to you or something, bragged Ebisu. No. I've already done this damn training with Kakashi-sensei, shouted Naruto. Now teach me something useful. Hey, said a man with long white hair who was peeping through a hole in the woman's bathing area. Ebisu noticed the man and challenged him for peeping on the innocent girls. I don't know who you are, but I will not forgive such shameless behavior, said a charging Ebisu. Huh, said the man, who turned around and proceeded to summon a toad, twice the size as him. Before Ebisu could react, the toad wrapped its tongue around Ebisu and flung him halfway across the hot spring that they were training at. Keep it quiet. What are you going to do if I get caught? Ebisu was on the ground unconscious. Closet perv is unconscious. Who is this open perv? Thought Naruto. That was embarrassing, responded Kurama. HMPH, he's totally knocked out. I knew this guy was a weakling, Naruto thought, the fox agreeing to every word. Who the hell are you and what is with that huge frog? Shouted Naruto. The mystery pervert got into some sort of stance. Hey, thanks for asking. Mount Myoboku Gamma's holy master sage, also known as the Toad Sage, the pervert said. I am Jiraiya. Hey pervy sage, what did you do? He was supposed to train me, said Naruto. It's because he got in the way of my work, Jiraiya said. I'm a writer working on a novel. Jiraiya pulled out a book from his robe that read. Ika Paradise. Gah, I know that book, shouted Naruto, remembering Kakashi-sensei. Oh, so you know. I must be getting pretty famous, smirked Jiraiya. That's a nasty book, screamed Naruto. And what the hell do you mean by work? All you were doing was peeping on those women, you pervert. You fool. I'm not just a pervert, responded Jiraiya. Peeping gives me inspiration for my writing. You liar, what a lame excuse, said Naruto with a clenched fist. Now what the hell are you going to do about my training? Hey kid, you want some of my chakra to beat this pathetic guy up, snickered Kurama. No thanks. I don't need that much to beat this perv, responded Naruto to the laughing fox. Training? Questioned Jiraiya. You mean that water walking exercise? So you know about it, stated Naruto. Then take responsibility and help me with my training. I hate disrespectful brats, and I don't like men, shouted Jiraiya. Well, I mean that Ika Paradise book is so cool, lied Naruto. Liar, that book is for adults, said the perverted sage. Compliments will get you nowhere. I'm a sage, not some fool, you annoying brat. Hate to say it kid, but there is only one way to beat this pervert. Naruto sighed, agreeing with the fox. Sexy jutsu. Naruto transformed into a busty woman, whose privates were barely covered by a thin layer of smoke. I like you, shouted Jiraiya, with a perverted look on his face. Both Naruto and the fox thought of him as an idiot. Wow, my kind of girl. What do you call this jutsu? It's my sexy jutsu, the female Naruto said with a seductive tone. What creativity, you're a genius, stated Jiraiya. I get the feeling all adult men are weak against this jutsu, thought Naruto. Humans are so pitifully embarrassing. Sadly, Naruto agreed. So will you help me with my training? The female Naruto said, making herself irresistible as possible. Yes. But on one condition, stated Jiraiya. In my presence, you must always be in that form. I knew it, you're just a perverted old man, shouted Naruto. It's not true kid, I'm not just a pervert, said Jiraiya. He suddenly got a creepy look on his face. I'm a super pervert. Yep, he's totally crazy. Let's just get out of here and I'll try to teach you a thing or two, said Kurama. What good will that do? You're locked up inside my head, shouted Naruto. He was just frustrated. First Kakashi dumps him onto that Ebisu weakling, then he meets this creepy pervert. Hey, that was just a joke. I'll look over your training, just do what you were doing before, Jiraiya said. Naruto walked onto the water, doing the exercise perfectly. If you can already do that, then why were you training with that in the first place? Jiraiya asked. Because the closet perv is an idiot, said Naruto with the fox nodding his head. Tell you what, go take a bath and relax for a little bit. Afterwards, I'll work on teaching you something, Jiraiya said. Yeah, you just want to peep for a little longer, stated Naruto. No really, you look really tense and it will help with the training, explained Jiraiya. As Naruto got into the hot spring near them, Jiraiya noticed the seal on Naruto's stomach. Just as I thought. It's about time I teach him to control the Kyuubi's chakra. About an hour later, Naruto met up with Jiraiya to begin his training. Quote, alright kid. First, there is something I need you to understand. You have two types of chakra. Have you ever felt a special type of chakra? Jiraiya looked over at the collapsed Ebisu. Actually, I think we had better take this guy in. Really? Now the fox was getting frustrated after that pointless day. Gaara was sleeping on top of a large statue in the outskirts of Konoha. You sure got me, don't you sleep? Said Dosu, failing to sneak up on Gaara. What do you want? Said Gaara, with an irritated tone. Well, I was going to kill you as you slept, but since you're awake, we can fight right here. I'll defeat you and have a higher chance of fighting Sasuke, claimed Dosu. I know about your sand attacks. I wonder if it's faster than my sound. He gets bloodthirsty during the full moon, Gaara said mysteriously. Gaara transformed into a large figure, shaking Dosu to the core. What or why you? Those were Dosu's last words as a gigantic sand arm slammed down on top of him, killing him. Naruto was fast asleep. The previous day had been rather stressful and he needed the rest. Jiraiya was on a building overlooking Naruto's apartment when Ebisu approached him. I'm sorry for taking your pupil, Ebisu, said Jiraiya. Don't worry. I was just surprised. That's all, explained Ebisu. Hokage-sama has been looking for you a long time without even a trace. It's just surprising that you showed up in the village like this. So you're here because of Orochimaru? No, stated Jiraiya. I just came here to work on my novels. I'm the type that doesn't stick his neck into others' troubles. But you must understand, said Ebisu. Against one of the Sannin, another Sannin is needed. We need you, Jiraiya-sama. Two figures were observing Gaara's killing of Dosu. Wow, so that is what his true identity is, one of the figures said. Yes, but he was a sound ninja, are you sure? Baki, the Suna team's instructor said. It's fine, he was no longer useful, said Kabuto, revealing himself to be a sound ninja. Besides, there is no need for that anymore. My true identity has already been discovered. Then, if they find you with me, our plans to crush the leaf will be ruined, Baki stated. Well, to be accurate, they didn't uncover my identity, stated Kabuto. I revealed myself. I wanted to see how the leaf would react. Taking Sasuke afterwards should not be too much of a problem, said Kabuto. Fine, but if it appears you are failing, then we will withdraw, said Baki. The sand will stay in the background until the very end. That is Kazekage-sama's will. How can this be? Hayate thought, hiding behind a pillar. Kabuto handed Baki a scroll. Here are our plans. Also, it is about time they know. Our ally, the sand, connected with the sound, thought Hayate. I must inform the Hokage. One more thing. I'll take care of our little rat, said Kabuto. Hayate knew he had been noticed and took off. No, leave him to me. As a partner of the sound, I should do something, Baki said, taking off to catch Hayate. Mr. Examiner, what are you doing here? Baki questioned. Looks like there is no other choice but to fight, Hayate said. Crescent Moon Dance. Hayate drew his sword and swung at Baki, creating the afterimages associated with the move. However, his attack only dug about an inch into Baki's shoulder pad. The leaf style, dance of the crescent moon, said Baki. Impressive, to master it at such a young age. However, an actual blade can be stopped. But a blade of wind cannot. Hayate was torn at by numerous wind blades. Shortly after, he lay on the building top, dead. Alright kid, I'm going to make a technique that will utilize your two types of chakra. You remember our talk from yesterday, right? Asked Jiraiya. Yeah, Naruto said. Alright, then try and release that special chakra right now, Jiraiya said. It's like he wants me to just sit on command, Kurama said. Yeah, you know what to do, thought Naruto back to his tenant. Suddenly, Jiraiya was thrown back by a burst of the Kyabe's chakra coming from Naruto. Wow, he was able to release it like that, thought a surprised Jiraiya. Well this could be interesting. Well, it seems like you already know about that chakra source, said Jiraiya to Naruto. Yeah, I know, replied Naruto. Does that mean you know about fuzzball too? Fuzzball? Really? Replied the fox, seriously annoyed at Naruto's comment. It's not like I could just say out loud that you are inside of me. I have to keep it somewhat discreet, thought Naruto back to his demon inhabitant. Jiraiya nodded. Let me ask you, how do you know about the Kyuubi? Well, we kind of met back during this mission to the Land of Waves. He's really not that bad once you get to know him, explained Naruto. What do you mean not that bad? He's the demon fox that attacked our village, shouted Jiraiya, trying to catch his breath. It was really all a big misunderstanding, said Naruto. He didn't want to attack the village, but was forced by some sort of powerful genjutsu. Powerful genjutsu? Jiraiya thought for a minute. The only one in history who had the power to control the Kyuubi was Madara Uchiha, and he's dead. Well, apparently he came back that night and attacked the village. The fox told me something about a guy in a mask controlling him with a chakra that felt like that Madara guy, said Naruto. Then what my informant told me might just be true. This is something I'm going to have to look into, Jiraiya thought. Alright kid, I'll bite. Just let me make sure that your seal is still secure. The last thing we want is the fox getting free because of your carelessness and wrecking the entire village, said Jiraiya. Naruto made the seal visible on his stomach and Jiraiya took a detailed look at it. It seemed to check out, but he would be keeping a close eye on it for the time being. It seems like he doesn't fully trust me, stated Kurama. No dip. He thinks you are a bloodthirsty demon who purposely attacked the village, Naruto said. Now I feel insulted. I would normally just leave him to his research, but he might know something about the key. Let's just play it quiet for a little. So I guess you know then that the Kyuubi's chakra mixes with your own, giving you a massive chakra reserve, asked Jiraiya. Naruto just nodded. Quote, now I am going to teach you a technique that will make use of that massive chakra source that you have, he explained. There are a lot of techniques that are perfect for you that require a lot of power, like this summoning jutsu I want to teach you. Summoning jutsu? Naruto asked. Yeah, you sign a contract in blood with various life forms and call them forth with ninjutsu when needed, explained Jiraiya. It's a type of space-time ninjutsu. Is this summoning contract like what you and I signed? Said Naruto to Kurama. No. Our contract was different. I'll explain it to you a different day. Focus on the summoning contract as it could actually prove useful. If this contract is with toads, then I know the potential behind it. Let's just say my back is still sore from this giant toad landing on top of me when I was out last, explained Kurama. Giant toad, thought Naruto, now really excited. Oh, sounds awesome. Teach me, jumped a joyous Naruto. First you have to use up all your chakra, so we can have access to that second type of chakra, the Kyuubi's, explained Jiraiya. Hey, I can tap into the Kyuubi's chakra whenever I want, said Naruto. Wait, what? Shouted Jiraiya. Naruto sighed. He felt like he should make a recording of this so he wouldn't have to repeat himself. Naruto told Jiraiya everything that had transpired between him and the fox, back in the Land of Waves. Jiraiya was dumbfounded. He never expected the Kyuubi to be one to cooperate with its host. Okay kid, just tell me, who else knows about this? Just my teammates, Sasuke, Sakura, and Haku, Naruto said. I had to use the Kyuubi's power to protect them from this snake freak, Orochimaru, I think. So Orochimaru is up to no good, Jiraiya thought. However, I can't use it all the time. The more chakra I have to pull from him, the more it stresses my body, Naruto explained. That makes sense. Just promise me to be extremely careful when using it. There are some people in this village who will try and take advantage of you if they know you have control of the fox's chakra, explained Jiraiya. Well, that is with the fox's chakra cloak. Is it okay if I just use small bursts of his chakra? Asked Naruto. Jiraiya thought for a little. He knew that in order to use this summoning jutsu, Naruto would have to tap into the fox's chakra. Small busts, as long as you don't prolong the presence of excess demon chakra in your system or take on that fox cloak you were talking about, explained Jiraiya. Gotcha, now can we get back to that summoning jutsu? Asked Naruto impatiently. Alright, now watch closely, said Jiraiya. He bit his finger, drawing a bit of blood and making a few hand seals. Summoning jutsu. The frog from yesterday appeared beneath Jiraiya, with Jiraiya on its head. Oh, that's from yesterday, shouted Naruto. The frog handed him a scroll that was in his mouth. Naruto laid it down and unfurled it, revealing the contract. This is the Toad contract that has been passed down many generations. Write your name in blood and then press down your fingerprints in blood, explained Jiraiya. Then focus chakra in the hand you signed the contract with and press it downward. The hand seals are boar, dog, bird, monkey, sheep. Alright, like this? Naruto asked. Jiraiya nodded and Naruto went through the hand seals. Summoning jutsu. Yo kid, you got any snacks? Said a small orange toad. It talks, shouted Naruto, pointing at the talking toad. Oh, Gamakiki. I didn't expect him to summon you here, said Jiraiya. He then let out a little laugh. I was expecting the kid to summon a tadpole or something. Gamakichi laughed along with Jiraiya and so was the fox. Naruto just stood there, slightly frustrated. Jiraiya explained to Gamakichi that he had chosen Naruto to be the next Toad summoner. Soon after, Gamakichi left, returning back to Mount Myoboku. The rest of the morning, Naruto spent trying to get a feel for how much chakra to put into the summoning Gamakichi at least 2 more times, who was becoming increasingly irritated at these constant summoning. Thankfully, Jiraiya had a few snacks on him to keep the small toad cooperating. Alright Naruto, try putting a little more chakra into it, instructed Jiraiya. Naruto forced some more of his own chakra into the summon. By the end of the day, he had managed to summon the same toad that Jiraiya had managed to summon to attack the closet perv. I wonder, thought Jiraiya. Hey Naruto, how much longer do you have until the finals? Oh, just over 3 weeks. Why? Replied Naruto. Maybe he can do it. He was able to do pretty well on the toad summoning, thought Jiraiya. Are you up for a challenge? Do you want to learn a cool jutsu? Cool jutsu. It only took a few seconds for Naruto's brain to connect the dots. Cool jutsu. Teach me. Geez, calm down kid, said Jiraiya, trying to restrain the jumping boy. He didn't understand how this kid still had energy from an entire day of summoning. Alright, just watch closely now. Jiraiya held out his palm and focused chakra into it. A blue orb of spiraling chakra began to form as Naruto's eyes widened. Turning to a tree, Jiraiya took the orb and slammed it into the trunk. The orb shredded the tree upon contact, leaving a splintered stump in its place. Wow, was all Naruto could get out. I take that back. Maybe this guy isn't so useless after all, the fox admitted for once. What was that? Asked Naruto, now more excited than ever. If Sakura had walked up to him and asked him on a date, he would not know it. That Naruto was one of the Yondaime Hokage's original jutsu, explained Jiraiya. It's called the Rasengan. Just so you know, in terms of difficulty, this jutsu is a higher rank. Alright, watch me. I'll have that thing mastered by tomorrow, claimed Naruto. Kid, this jutsu, it took the Yondaime 3 years to develop. It took me a month after he taught it to me. I told you this was going to be a challenge, said Jiraiya. I'll be surprised if you have it down within a few months, and it will take a miracle for anyone to get it down in a month, let alone in time for the finals. Then I'll have it down by the finals. Believe it, he declared. Suddenly, Naruto felt weak as his legs collapsed and he fell to the ground. It was about time he passed out after expending so much chakra. About 30 minutes later, Naruto woke up to the pervy sage carrying him on his back. Naruto saw the door to his apartment just ahead of him. Why are we here? I thought we were going to start on that jutsu, he asked wearily. Not today, Naruto, said Jiraiya. You're going to need to be fully rested for this and I don't have the necessary items to start training. So when do we start? The blonde asked. Meet me tomorrow afternoon at the same place. We'll begin then, Jiraiya said, putting Naruto down just outside his room as the blonde entered for a good night's rest. Here, said Jiraiya, setting down 2 large sacks full of water balloons in front of Naruto. What are these for? Asked Naruto, taking a water balloon and examining it. Training, replied Jiraiya. Naruto had no idea what the pervy sage was taking about. Okay, watch. Jiraiya took one of the balloons and Naruto watched as he swirled the water in the balloon with his chakra until the balloon burst. Whoa! Exclaimed the hyperactive blonde ninja. Jiraiya explained to Naruto to burst the balloon by swirling the water using only his chakra. Now, you already know the water walking exercise and the tree climbing exercise. The tree climbing exercise teaches you to maintain a certain amount of chakra by focusing your mind and keeping that concentration. The water walking exercise releases a fixed amount of chakra continuously. For this, use the water walking technique to spin the water with a continuous flow. Spin the water with a continuous flow? Naruto asked. Let's see, thought Jiraiya for a second. Alright, first use the tree climbing exercise to maintain a moderate amount of chakra in your hands and then use the water walking exercise to release and spin it continuously. Naruto had the idea now. Basically, he had to continuously spin it until it boiled and the balloon burst. Jiraiya explained that there were about 150 water balloons in the bag and he would only teach Naruto the second step in learning the Rasengan once all of the balloons were popped with Naruto's chakra. Before returning to his research, Jiraiya explained that Naruto would probably need both hands to control the chakra at first, but should then work on controlling it with a single hand after the first few balloons. The rest of the day consisted of Naruto trying to burst the balloon. However, all he managed to do was get the water to swirl in a single direction. While the balloon was deforming, it was nowhere near what Jiraiya's balloon had looked like. Jiraiya's balloon had multiple points, chaotically erupting out of it until the balloon finally burst. Naruto's balloon only deformed until it was in an elongated disc. It wasn't until late the next day that Naruto finally got an idea on how to do the first step. Tora, the demon cat of the hidden leaf, came upon Naruto training and found a stray water balloon. Hey! Give that back you damn cat! Screamed Naruto as Tora began playing with the balloon, knocking it back and forth until the balloon burst, soaking the cat. The burst scared Tora off, but Naruto had an idea. He took a balloon in one hand and began focusing his chakra. I wonder if the kid learned anything, thought Jiraiya, whose attention had been momentarily averted from the bikini-clad girls in the river next to their training area. Naruto did, as he clasped the balloon in both hands and began swirling the chakra, creating different directions of the swirl. A few moments later, the balloon burst. Yeah, I did it, shouted the excited ninja. Keep it down out there. I'm trying to take a nap, said Kurama. While he was trying to take a nap, he had been keeping an eye on his Jinchuriki's progress. Well, too bad. I'm now one step closer to getting that awesome jutsu down, so stop complaining, replied Naruto. Suddenly, Naruto heard a rustling in the bushes as Kiba came running out. Oh, Naruto, said Kiba, wondering why Naruto was there. However, his head refocused on the task at hand. Hey, have you seen that damn cat anywhere? I could have sworn I smelled it, but it faded off. Cat. Oh, you mean Tora? Asked Naruto as Kiba nodded. The Hokage gave me and Ino that mission. Thanks to you, I'm stuck doing missions without my team for the next month, said Kiba, referring to the fact that both of his teammates were in the finals and that they had the entire month off from mission work to train, while he had been eliminated by Naruto. Naruto told him that Tora came running through here a few minutes ago, and soaked itself with one of his water balloons. Unfortunately, this wiped most of the scent on Tora and it would be a bit before the scent was strong enough again. That cat was seriously becoming a Genin's bane as Kiba took off in the direction that Naruto directed him in. So it looks like you've got it, said Jiraiya. Naruto nodded in excitement. Alright, now only 149 more balloons to go. Jiraiya smiled as Naruto's spirits dropped. He had been hoping to move on to the next stage, but now he had to repeat the same thing for all 149 remaining balloons. Hinata was in her family dojo, training with her father. He was trying to get her level of gentle fist up to par before the finals, for she had something to prove here. Before she informed him that she had made the finals, Practically no one in the Hyuga clan had expected Hinata to make it that far. Most of the members of the main family saw her as a disappointment and felt that she should just forfeit now before she embarrassed the name of the Hyuga in the finals, in front of many powerful lords. At first, Hinata was thinking to give in to the taunts of some members of the main branch, but she decided to push herself to improve, thinking, what would Naruto do? He had told her that she was strong and that was all that mattered. While most of the main family had decided to taunt her and call her weak during the past week, her father had actually offered to train her again. Hiyashi did not want to give up his daughter's training years ago, feeling that once he managed to take away her self-confidence issue, that she would begin to blossom as a powerful shinobi. However, the pressure from the rest of the main family forced him to take up Hanabi as his student and potential heir. Before he began training Hinata, her sensei, Kurama, had informed him that Hinata had made it. Hiyashi was surprised that Hinata had managed to pull it off and demanded Kurama tell him of her exam. She explained that her opponent was a rather strong ninja from the Sand Village and that Hinata had managed to best him in combat. Asking what it was that finally gave her the push to do this, Kurama's answer surprised Hiyashi. It was Naruto. He was the one who encouraged Hinata to do her best. He was the one who told her to just ignore Neji's taunts. He was the one who brought out her strength. During their training, Hiyashi could see the determination that Naruto's words had implanted in Hinata were still there as she was finally pushing herself and she was finally showing progress. It was getting later in the day, and he had been working with Hinata since early in the morning. Quote, Hinata, that's enough for today, said Hiyashi to his panting daughter. No, I can keep going, she replied. Apparently, a bit of confidence wasn't the only thing Naruto gave her. She was displaying a small amount of stubbornness. Whether you can or cannot, you have made good progress this week. I must say that I actually am impressed, complimented Hiyashi. This was one of the first times that she had heard something like that come out of his mouth. Take tomorrow to rest and we will pick up the day after. I think you have enough accuracy and speed now that we can begin the 8 trigrams. But you should rest first as the training will only get more difficult. Hinata understood standing and bowing before her father and leaving the dojo. Outside, Hinata met up with one few truly friendly faces she had known in the Hyuga clan, Ko, her personal caretaker and one of her closest friends. Ko was one of the few Hyuga who truly believed that she had talent and was always encouraging her to do her best. It wasn't until just recently that he had truly began to see a drastic improvement in her skills. He offered to treat the young girl to dinner at a place that was known for its sweets and desserts, knowing that Hinata had quite the sweet tooth. For Ko, tonight was also a celebration as he had learned that his wife was now pregnant and they would be expecting their first child in about 8 months. Returning home, Hinata entered the house and proceeded to her room. Passing the dojo, she heard her father's voice and the voice of some of the clan elders. She couldn't clearly make out the conversation, however she could make out the purpose of the conversation going on. Basically, the clan elders had been questioning Hiyashi's decision to train Hinata, declaring her a failure. Hiyashi on the other hand, was defending his daughter, claiming that she was finally showing the potential that would make her into a strong shinobi. As the conversation came to a close, one of the elders suggested that Hinata should just be branded and that would be the end of it. They claimed that there was no room in the main family for someone as weak as she was. Again, Hiyashi refuted that. Nei-san, why are you crying? Asked Hanabi, finding her big sister standing near the door of the dojo. It's nothing, Hana, replied Hinata. They still think I am weak. But wait, father believes in me. I won't let him down, and I won't let you down, Naruto. Hinata turned to her sister. I'm going out for a bit. Please don't tell anyone, Hinata told Hanabi, who agreed not to say anything. The next day, Naruto spent finishing off the remaining water balloons. He had required both hands for about the first 50, but then found it becoming increasingly easier to pop the balloons with one hand once he got the feel for the proper control and release of chakra. Jiraiya decided to call it a day for training as now he had to go and find the required item for the next step of the Rasengan. Besides, Naruto's hands were burning from the constant release of chakra for the past 3 days. Hey, pervy sage. So what's step 2? Asked an overanxious Naruto the next day. This, said Jiraiya, throwing Naruto a hollow rubber ball, much to Naruto's disappointment. Jiraiya then took a rubber ball himself and proceeded to pop it like the water balloon. The first step was to get the spin down, the second step is to add power. If there is no water, it is hard to feel the chakra, so it is hard to power it up or control it. Now, here's a bag with 150 rubber balls, you know what to do. I wonder if it is the same skill set as the last step, thought Naruto. Alright, I'll let you work on it then, said Jiraiya returning to his research. Wait, shouted Naruto. Didn't you say that you were going to train me? I said I'd teach you. Don't misunderstand me, I never said it would be that simple, responded Jiraiya. You need to be able to depend on yourself. That is how you'll become strong. If you can't work out things yourself, then the most you'll come up with are perverted ninjutsu. Speaking of which, don't even think about it, you old pervert, replied Naruto, knowing exactly what Jiraiya was thinking. Naruto spent the next 2 days trying to pop the ball while Jiraiya just sat there peeping at the girls in the river next to them. It was getting late in the evening and Naruto was really beginning to feel the burn. Damn it. The damn ball won't break no matter how much I try, thought Naruto, who was now lying on the ground as a sharp pain was running through his arms. Every time I let my chakra flow like that, a pain runs down my arms and hands like my nerves are being prodded. The more I increase the chakra, the worse the pain gets. Perhaps that's the key to this step. It's kind of like what I do with my tailed beast ball. I build up my chakra until I can no longer contain it and I release it all at once, explained Kurama. Tailed beast ball? Asked Naruto. It's probably the strongest attack I have, capable of destroying mountains. Whoa. Can you teach it to me? Naruto asked, now wanting to learn yet another jutsu. Not until we can fully merge our powers, Kit, replied the fox. Anyways, try that. Build up as much chakra as you can and release it all at once. Alright, here you go. Build the chakra until I can't bear the pain anymore, thought Naruto. He gathered the chakra. The pain in his arms increased until it was at the point of breaking. Naruto then took all that chakra and gripped the ball, forcing it into the ball space between his hands. The ball deformed and finally a small hole in the side opened up and the ball deflated as Naruto dropped to his knees out of breath. Quote, oh, looks like you've got at least the basics of it, said Jiraiya, turning his attention back to Naruto. Unfortunately for him, the girls had left for the day. What are you talking about? All I did was make a small hole, replied a slightly depressed Naruto. Oh, don't be so stubborn. You've come a long way, getting the first 2 steps done in about a week's time, replied Jiraiya. You have the basics, so the rest is just a simple trick. Jiraiya took out his brush and drew a small spiral in the center of Naruto's hand. Huh, what's this? Asked a curious Naruto. What do you mean by this is the hint? Jiraiya held up a blank piece of paper in front of Naruto. Look here at this paper, said Jiraiya. Naruto took a look at it until Jiraiya put it down. Then he drew the same swirl in the center of the paper that he had drawn on Naruto's hand. Naruto looked again. So what? Asked Naruto. It's not that complicated. When I held up the blank paper, you looked at the entire thing as a whole, right? Naruto nodded his head. But, when you looked at the paper with the dot, where was your attention drawn to? Suddenly, a bright light bulb went off in Naruto's head, practically blinding Kurama. Damn Kit, it's times like this when I'm glad you don't have a lot bright ideas, joked the fox. Naruto's sweat dropped on the outside as Jiraiya just questioned what he was thinking about. It's nothing, just the damn fuzzball that lives in my head, said Naruto. Oh come on Kit, have a sense of humor. Alright, so what you are saying is to focus on one point, asked Naruto. Not bad. Jiraiya began his explanation. When the paper is blank, there is no clear target and your gaze is unstable. Now, when I drew the dot on it, your attention was drawn to the center. Your target becomes clear and your eyes follow it. This is called the concentration of one. You become closer to a state where you can draw maximum power because your mind is focused and calm. When you made that hole in the ball, you must have focused a lot of chakra into the palm of your hand and pushed the power to the limit. Alright, so focus all the chakra in my palm onto that one dot, asked Naruto. Jiraiya nodded. Picking up one more ball for the night, Naruto did as he was instructed, focusing as much chakra as he could muster around that one point in the palm of his hand. When he released it, the ball deformed for a few seconds before exploding in a loud burst. Yeah, I did it, shouted Naruto as he began to feel weak and dizzy again. He collapsed to his knees, having used up too much chakra. Alright Naruto. Take a break. We'll continue tomorrow, said Jiraiya. No. Can keep Going, panted Naruto. He then heard a grumble come from his stomach. Perhaps a break was a good thing. The two of them soon found themselves at Naruto's favorite restaurant in town, Ichiraku Ramen. Jiraiya was both amazed and disgusted by the amount of ramen this kid could consume, leaving just over a dozen bowls on the counter. Damn, this kid is just like his mother when it comes to ramen, thought Jiraiya, remembering a few things. The next day, Naruto was able to pop the remaining balls. Like the water balloons, he spent the first 50 or so balls using both hands to contain the chakra, but found himself able to use one hand after getting the feel for it. Alright, what's next? Shouted Naruto after finishing up on the last ball. Jiraiya pulled out an uninflated balloon and blew it up. Another balloon, thought a depressed Naruto as Jiraiya tossed it to him. Quote, the first step was to spin it and the second step was power, explained Jiraiya. The third step is this. He held the balloon in his hand and got the chakra spinning. Naruto was staring intently at the balloon, but nothing was happening. What the heck is this? Screamed Naruto. It may seem like I'm holding the balloon the same way, but watch. Jiraiya pulled out a needle and popped the balloon. Inside, Naruto saw it. Inside the balloon was the Rasengan. Whoa, inside, the chakra was spiraling rapidly and increasing in pace, but it maintained a perfect orb, exclaimed Naruto. Even with that much power inside, the balloon didn't even twitch until the pervy sage popped it. There must be more power and speed than when I popped the rubber ball. Alright, listen up. This third step is giving it all you've got from the first two steps and charging it, explained the Toad Sage. Basically, you max out the spin and power of chakra, but you will maintain a wall to contain it. Hey, so I do the spinning exercise from the last step, but try not to pop the balloon, realized Naruto. Naruto spent the rest of the day, trying to get the third and final step down, popping many balloons. Damn it, you've got to be kidding me. I've got to control all that I've learned perfectly. Now I can understand. This third step is on a completely different scale, he thought. Naruto had about a week and a half to get the third stage down and be able to use the Rasengan until his match with Neji. However, the realization on how difficult was starting to wear at him. For the past few days, at the same time Naruto was busy with the second stage, Hiashi had begun to instruct Hinata on the 8 trigram stance. Ko had volunteered to be the practice dummy when Hiashi went to demonstrate the technique. Gentle step, 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Hiashi called out as he struck Ko with 64 rapid and precise strikes. Ko collapsed to his knees after taking the attack. Hiashi had reduced the power of the chakra bursts to the bare minimum so that Hinata could see, but that still didn't mean it didn't hurt. Ko, shouted Hinata, running to his side and beginning to open up the chakra points. I'm fine, Hinata-sama. I am doing this for your benefit, so it does not bother me, explained Ko as he found his way back to his feet. For the next few days, Hiashi was instructing Hinata on the first 32 strikes. However, there was one major problem. Hinata would not use the chakra bursts. Hiashi knew why. She was still too gentle and did not want to hurt Ko, even after he begged her to use them. If Hinata would not use the chakra bursts in training, there was no way to tell if her strikes were effective. He had to think of another way. In the Sand Village, good work, Baki, the Kazekage said. Unfortunately, Kankuro did not make it to the finals, but the other two did, Kazekage-sama, Baki said. There is no need to worry, Kankuro will still be present and Gaara was the only one we desperately needed to reach the finals anyways, the Kazekage said. From now on, I presume our deal with the sound is strong. Yes, here are the plans form the sound, Baki said, handing the scroll Kabuto had given him to the guards, who then passed it to the Kazekage. I see, then we will be counting on you for that day, said the Kazekage. But Kazekage-sama, with only the 4 of us, can we not place troops around the fire country and call it an exercise, argued Baki. Konoha isn't stupid, explained one of the guards. Their Anbu is already on the move and if we do that, we will draw too much attention. As expected, the forces we can bring into the village are limited. That is why we have Gaara and the others. With that, the Kazekage ordered Baki to go and prepare. The Sand was preparing to make their move. Flashback. The Sand will join the Sound in attacking the Leaf on the 3rd day of the Chunin exams, explained Baki to his 3 students. This is an Shrank mission, please understand the importance. But why a war? Temari cried. After all the time and effort we put forth creating the alliance, To break that, many will die. In the end, shinobi are tools of war, explained Baki. The alliance itself threatened our existence. You genin probably don't know it, but the Wind Country's stupid ministers have used the alliance to forcibly weaken the military strength of the Hidden Sand. Because of the alliance, and the ministers fully trusting the Leaf, he sent out clients to them and drastically cut our funding. When the head is stupid, we suffer. For our village to keep up, we had to raise the abilities of each of our shinobi. That's why shinobi like you were created, Gaara. Gaara remained silent. Fearing the weakening of Suna, the Cage formed an alliance with the Sound to teach the stupid minister the danger the country is in, said Baki. To measure the recovery of the Sand Village, we will destroy the Leaf. If more time is allowed to pass, the Leaf will become too powerful and out of our reach. This mission, we are counting on you, Gaara. Gaara nodded. End flashback. Naruto arrived at the hot springs early the next day to begin his training. Unfortunately, the pervy sage was not there. Yo, Naruto, said Jiraiya, walking up to their little training ground, about an hour late. Where were you? You're almost as bad as Kakashi-sensei, shouted Naruto. I had business to take care of, Naruto, explained Jiraiya with a regretful look in your eyes. I'm sorry to say but your training ends here. There is something urgent that requires my attention. Yeah, I'm sure you just found a new hot spring to go look at girls or something perverted like that, said Naruto. It's not that kid, this thing that needs my attention has something to do with. Jiraiya bent down to whisper into Naruto's ear. Orochimaru. What? Really? What is going on? Asked Naruto. I don't really know. That's why I need to investigate, explained Jiraiya. Then what about my training? Asked a concerned Naruto. I'm sorry, but the remaining week and a half you are going to have to manage on your own. I have faith you can become the fourth master of this technique, said Jiraiya. Also, about Fuzzball, be very careful when using his chakra. A small burst every now and then might be okay, but don't overdo it unless it is absolutely necessary. There are people even in this village who would try to exploit you and that power for their own gain, and his power is not one that should be taken lightly. Do you understand? Yeah, I guess, replied Naruto, crossing his arms. Looks like he wouldn't be going full fox cloak on Neji's ass during the finals. Naruto, please promise me you'll be careful with using that chakra, said Jiraiya. Alright, I promise you. And don't worry, I won't go back on my word, believe it. Claimed Naruto. With that, Jiraiya left to check out what required his attention. Since there was no use staying at the hot springs any longer, Naruto figured he would grab a quick bowl of ramen then move over to Training Ground 7 to continue. Sakura was walking down the street of Konoha, holding a wrapped daffodil in her hand. Today was the day she got off from doing missions. Normally, she would have used this day to stalk Sasuke or do something that was related towards her getting closer to Sasuke, or even anything Sasuke related. However, she had not seen or heard of him in the past weeks, nor had she seen Kakashi-sensei around. Her first assumption was that Kakashi had taken Sasuke away for training, which was the correct assumption. Ahead of her, Sakura caught an orange-clad ninja coming out of a ramen shop. Naruto, she shouted. It had been over a week at least since she saw one of her teammates, and even Naruto was a welcome sight. Oh, Sakura, what are you doing here? Asked the ramen-stuffed blonde. I'm on my way to the hospital to see Lee, she replied. Bushy brows. How is he doing? Asked Naruto. You should come and see him. I'm sure he would like to wish you good luck or something before your match with Neji, said Sakura. Inside, Naruto's spirits lowered slightly. Despite this training, he knew if he didn't have his new jutsu ready for the finals, that there would be a good chance he wouldn't beat Neji. After experiencing the difficulty of the third step, even he was beginning to have doubts. Still, Naruto did want to see how Bushy Brows was doing and he wouldn't refuse this time with Sakura. When they got to the hospital, they also ran into Shikamaru, who had just finished visiting Choji. Apparently, Choji had eaten too much and was in the hospital with a strained stomach. Both Naruto and Sakura got a good laugh out of this. Shikamaru decided that it wouldn't be too much trouble to see Lee as he was also a little curious as to how the spandex-wearing ninja was. They opened the door to find something they had not expected to see. There was sand hovering around Lee and a red-headed boy standing beside him, ready to kill. Ah! Screamed Sakura as Shikamaru had to act quickly, restraining Gaara with his shadow possession jutsu. Naruto punched Gaara in the cheek as Shikamaru felt the blow as well due to his jutsu. Bastard. What are you doing to bushy brows? I was trying to kill him, replied Gaara with a cold and sadistic tone to his voice. What? The three-leaf ninja stuttered in unison. Shikamaru noticed something was off. How can he stay so calm, thought the lazy genius. Why is there a need to do that? You won your fight, do you have some personal grudge against him? I have no grudge. I just simply want to kill him, Gaara replied, sending horrified looks onto the leaf ninjas' faces. Damn raccoon. Can't he think of anything else besides mindless violence? Hell, if it wasn't for him, you humans might have never found out about us, said Kurama. Naruto heard the demon, but couldn't respond just now between what Gaara had said and what Kurama had just said. What the hell? You bastard, shouted Naruto. You had a messed up childhood, how self-centered can you be? Asked Shikamaru. I'm getting this weird chill. If he acts up, Naruto and I may not be able to stop him. What to do? If you get in my way, I'll kill you too. Gaara said, unleashing a wave of killing intent through the room. What? Go ahead and try, shouted Naruto, preparing himself for a fight. Hey, Naruto, stop it, ordered Shikamaru. Sakura, who was standing there, couldn't move as the killing intent took over her body's control. Quote, Kit, Pineapple Hair is right. Now is not the time or place to be picking fights with other demons, even if they only have one tail. We don't want anyone dying in the crossfire, warned Kurama. I'll try to bluff him, Shikamaru thought. We know you are strong, but so are we. We didn't show you our special moves in the preliminaries. Plus it's 2-on-1. You have a disadvantage. If you leave now, we'll let it go. I'll say it one more time. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too, replied Gaara. I won't be killed by the likes of you, Naruto shouted. Naruto, shish, Shikamaru said, trying to calm his blonde counterpart down. His strength is like a monster, don't you understand? Hey, monster you say? Well, guess what? I have a real monster inside of me, claimed Naruto, referring to Kurama. Sakura knew what he was referring to, but Shikamaru saw that as a bluff. A monster, eh? Replied Gaara. Like you said, I had a messed up childhood. I was born into this world by taking the life of the woman I would have called my mother. To become the ultimate shinobi, my father attached the incarceration of sand through me using ninjutsu. I was born a monster. The being referred to as the Shukaku, it was sealed into an old kettle. It's the living spirit of an old hidden sand priest. A possession jutsu that allows one to be possessed before birth. To go that far is crazy, replied Shikamaru. Crazy? Yep, sounds like that bastard of a raccoon, replied Kurama. Hey, what a strange expression of love. A parent doing something like that, said Shikamaru. Love, replied Gaara. Don't judge me with your measuring stick. Family. You want to know what kind of connection that is to me? Gaara now had the leaf genin's full attention. It's simply pieces of meat connected to me through murderous intent and hatred. By sacrificing my mother's life, I was graded as the village's ultimate masterpiece as the Kazekage's son, Gaara told them. My father taught me the secrets of the shinobi. I was spoiled and allowed to do as I pleased. I thought that was love, until that incident occurred. What incident? Sakura asked, regaining her ability to talk. Gaara let an evil, sadistic grin slip onto his face. For the last 6 years, my father has tried countless times to kill me. Naruto, Sakura, and Shikamaru were in shock. But you said your father spoiled you. What do you mean? A being too strong can become an existence of fear, replied Gaara. Born through jutsu, my spirit was unstable. It seems the idiots in my village finally realized there was a problem. To my father, I was the village's trump card, but I was also very dangerous. It seems that by the time I was 6, I was too dangerous. As the village's dangerous tool, I was handled with care. To them, I am simply an object of the past they want to see disappear. The why do I exist? Why am I alive? When I thought about this, I could find no answer. But, as you live, you need a reason, otherwise it's the same as being dead. What's he talking about? Asked Shikamaru. He looked over to see Naruto had frozen. I can understand, thought Naruto. He's the same as me. I came to this conclusion. I exist to kill every single being besides myself. I finally found relief from the fear of death, never knowing when someone would try to kill me, stated Gaara. By continually killing assassins, I understood the reason to continue living. Fighting only for yourself, living while loving only yourself. If you think that everyone else simply exists to allow you to experience that feeling, nothing is better than that in the world. As long as there are people in this world for me to kill, and continue to feel the joy of living, my existence will not vanish. What is this guy? This is really bad, thought Shikamaru. I was alone. I couldn't find a reason to live and was in pain. But because my teacher, Haruka-sensei, and my team and comrades, and even you, Kurama, I finally experienced what it meant to be alive, thought Naruto. But he continued to be alone and experienced living through killing other. How could a guy like this exist? Now you know why that raccoon is insane. He's completely psychotic, who only wants to cause death and destruction. If he cannot do it, then he manipulates his host into doing it for him, answered Kurama. Now, I've had enough of you. Die! Shouted Gaara as he sent his sand out towards the three. Kurama was readying himself to flood Naruto with demonic chakra while Shikamaru froze and all Sakura could do was scream. Quote, "That's enough," Guy said, entering the room. "The finals are in a few days, so don't get antsy. Or do you want to stay here, starting today?" Gaara clutched his head in obvious mental pain. "I'll definitely kill you guys, just wait," he threatened, leaving the hospital. The three-leaf genin knew they had just avoided something that could have gotten very bad. It was now late in the evening and Naruto had made his way to the training ground. The upcoming match between him and Neji was approaching, and after seeing what Neji did to the Cloud Ninja, Karui, he was beginning to become unnerved. The previous encounter with Gaara only served to make matters worse. He worked on his Rasengan, only for it to fail. However, to say that progress wasn't being made was wrong. Before, the balloon would instantly burst when he tried to contain the chakra, but now he was able to hold it for a second or two before the chakra began to destabilize. Late at night, Naruto was blown back when one of his balloons burst rather violently. It was then that he looked up to see Hinata standing in front of him. Realizing that Naruto was also at the training grounds where she was doing some personal and supplemental training, she quickly turned a light shade of red and ducked behind a post. "Hinata, what are you doing here?" asked Naruto. Nothing, I just came here to train, Naruto," she stuttered out. What or why you doing here?" "I've been here training," Naruto said. "Oh, well I see can go to another training ground," said the shy girl. "No, that is alright. It would actually be nice to have some company for once," said Naruto. This in turn turned Hinata a slightly darker shade of red. A few moments later, Naruto dropped his head as the prospect of his fight came back to his mind. "Hey Hinata, that Neji guy, he's your cousin, right?" "Why yes," said Hinata. Is he strong?" asked Naruto. "Why yeah," replied Hinata. Naruto's spirits were deflated even further. "But I believe you can beat him." "Haha, yeah because I am really strong," replied Naruto. A long awkward pause soon followed. "And he's finally cracked," thought Kurama. "Well Naruto, when you cheered for me, I felt like I had become stronger," Hinata said, the stuttering slowly working its way out of her voice. "I had managed to defeat a strong opponent and I started to like myself a little more. It was thanks to you that I felt like I was able to change." "Ah, thanks to me," Naruto said, still unsure. "Yeah, I'm very influential." Another awkward silence followed. "Hinata, do you really think that?" Naruto asked. "I may appear strong to you, but that's just an act. I act all tough, because I always keep failing." "That's not true," Hinata burst out, surprising herself, Naruto, and even the fox. "Even when you fail, you always manage to get back up and become stronger. In my eyes, you are a proud failure. When I look at I get an intense feeling in my heart. Because you fail, you have the strength to get back up. I believe that is true strength. Because of that, you are incredibly strong, Naruto." "Wow. Thanks Hinata," Naruto said, feeling revitalized. "Earlier, I was feeling uncharacteristically depressed, but now, I am feeling much better." Naruto then looked straight at Hinata, and said to her, "You know, I always thought you were a plain-looking, dark weirdo." Hinata's spirits dropped. "But you know, there is something about you that I really like." This picked her up, even more than she had been brought down. She was about to say something, but Naruto opening his oblivious mouth first. So what have you been working on these past few weeks? Yep, he's an idiot, thought Kurama, dropping his head as Naruto had just ruined the moment. Well, my father has been training with me. But, I just can't seem to get the technique down, Hinata admitted. Well, why not? Naruto said. I just don't want to hurt anyone, Hinata said, receding back into her shell. He says that I'm too kind and gentle. You unfortunately, hos aren't traits looked highly upon in my family. Huh, what do you mean by that? Asked Naruto. That's one of the best things about you. It is, she said, turning a deeper shade of red than before. Yeah, I mean it's what drives you to be strong. I know you're strong and you proved it after your fight with that sand guy. Because you're kind, you don't want to let anyone down, explained Naruto. But for this technique, I need to practice on someone and I don't want to hurt them if I am just training, Hinata said. Kurama was blinded even worse by a brighter flash of light as Naruto got another idea, and not an idiotic one. Please tell me this isn't going to be a normal occurrence, he complained. Well, if you are worried about hurting someone, just use it on me. I've probably taken a worse beating, Naruto said. But, there is no way I could hurt you. Hinata cried out. That's not what I mean, Naruto said. He created a shadow clone next to him. Just use your technique on my shadow clone. Hinata took a look at the clone with her Byakugan. Surprisingly, the chakra systems in the clone and the real Naruto were identical. Are you sure I won't hurt you? Naruto grinned. Nope, he said. Naruto took out a kunai and threw it at the shadow clone's chest, much to the clone's displeasure, striking it and causing it to fall over, horrifying Hinata. The clone disappeared in a cloud of smoke. See? I'm just fine. Didn't feel a thing. Alright, Hinata said. Naruto was actually willing to help her again, and if he said it was alright to use his clones like this, she would so it as long as he wasn't getting hurt. Hinata tested the clone off by closing a few tenketsu points on the clone's arm. Its chakra system reacted the same way and the clone remained. After another close inspection, Hinata began her technique on the clone. Gentle Fist, 8 trigrams, 32 palms. Only a few seconds later, the clone collapsed and Naruto was in awe at Hinata's speed and technique. She had actually put the full chakra bursts into the technique now that she was assured that she wouldn't be hurting anyone. While she was initially unsure about using Naruto like this, he encouraged her to do so in that it would greatly help her. Hinata, what are you doing? Hiyashi asked, approaching the training ground. And why are you with him? You should be focusing your time on training for the final matches. Naruto was depressed. He was actually having a good time helping Hinata out. He was helping me train, Hinata said. Huh? Hiyashi asked, not quite sure of what she was saying. He was letting me use his shadow clones to practice the 8 trigrams on, she said. Shadow clones? Hiyashi asked, looking at Naruto. Naruto just smiled and created a shadow clone. Hiyashi took a closer look at it with his Byakugan. Much to his surprise, Naruto had indeed created a shadow clone. Hiyashi found himself actually impressed that the boy could use such a high-level technique. Arjit, then show me what you were doing. Hinata turned to the clone. Sorry for this, Naruto, she said. It's okay, Hinata. Like I said, it's just a clone and it doesn't bother me, Naruto assured. Oh okay. Gentle Fist. 8 trigrams, 32 palms, she said, proceeding into her attack. After all was said and done, Hiyashi was genuinely impressed. She had managed to hit 22 out of the 32 tenketsu, after only an hour or two of actually using chakra bursts, showing that her attack was actually rather effective even after only beginning to learn it. Hiyashi thought on this for a moment. Naruto, aren't you supposed to be training as well? He asked. Yeah, but I can take some time off to help Hinata. Besides, Kakashi-sensei abandoned me for Sasuke. The closet perv got knocked out by Pervy Sage, and Pervy Sage had to attend to some business. Hiyashi raised an eyebrow at what Naruto was saying. Pervy Sage? Questioned Hiyashi. Yeah, he's actually a strong ninja, but in reality, he's just a big pervert. He did teach me this cool summoning jutsu. Want to see? Said Naruto. Hiyashi wanted to see what summoning jutsu Naruto was talking about. Summoning jutsu. After a flash of smoke, Gamakichi appeared and asked for a snack. Thankfully, Jiraiya had also taught Naruto a storage jutsu to store snacks for toads. It talks. Hinata stuttered before passing out at the sight of a talking toad. Hiyashi looked at her and let out a sigh. A toad summon. I thought there could only be one toad summoned per generation. Does that mean Master Jiraiya is here and he chose him? Thought Hiyashi. Tell me, this, pervy sage. Hiyashi had a hard time getting those last two words out. By any chance is his name Jiraiya? Oh, Jiraiya. Naruto responded. Yeah, that's him. He also taught me another technique, but that is still being worked on. This is interesting. So you have been taken by Jiraiya-sensei as a student and he has given you the toad summoning scroll. What is this other technique you are talking about? Thought Hiyashi. He remembered what Kurenai said to him about the preliminaries and Naruto being able to bring Hinata out of her shell. Surprisingly, he found himself slightly interested in Naruto and wanted to see what the boy could do, even if the match was against his own nephew. At the same time, Naruto had given him another opportunity to improve Hinata's skills. Naruto, could I ask something of you? Asked Hiyashi. Sure, what is it? Asked Naruto. I want you to train with Hinata for a few hours in the afternoons and help her perfect her technique. Your shadow clones have proven a valuable method for her to practice the technique, Hiyashi said. At this time, Hinata was waking up and heard their little conversation. Yeah, I would be glad to help her out, Naruto replied. I'm going to be with Naruto every day until the finals. Hinata thought, passing out again. Hiyashi then picked her up and left. Naruto, please come by the Hyuga compound tomorrow at 2 p.m., he instructed, leaving with his unconscious daughter. The next thing that he would need to fix with her was that fainting problem. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.